Welcome back. On the last week's episode, I talked about the issues that our children are having right now, and we talked about the rise of anxiety and depression. We talked about the fact that our kids nowadays have a failure to launch. They're not getting a job. They're not taking responsibility over their lives. They're staying in their parents' basement. They're staying dependent on their parents. And we talked about the fact that they're feeling very insecure. We talked about the rise in ADHD in children and the fact that that we started pathologizing normal human struggles and people started to see themselves as weak. So last week, I talked about the reasons for that, and the reasons for that are cultural shifts that we are experiencing in our culture and have been experiencing for the last probably around 50 years. The cultural shifts that I've talked about are the rise of the new liberalism, the new left, which emphasizes gender equality, race equality, lifestyle equality, basically saying that everybody deserves freedom and autonomy and that we should respect all opinions, we should respect all people just the same. And there isn't only one good way to live, there isn't one truth, there isn't one moral compass that we all should abide by. We talked about the rise of secularism and the rise of commercialism and how that impacts our children. We talked about the fact that there was a rise in the therapeutic approach, and the therapeutic approach is kind of like taking over our culture. Nowadays, parents are very trauma informed, schools are trauma informed, doctors are trauma informed, and how that impacts our children. We talked about the fact that we started to view in our society children and human beings as fragile, meaning that children should be shielded from discomfort, distress, adversity, and struggle. We talked about how all that impacts the way that we parent today. And we said that nowadays parents became much more permissive and they kind of swung over to the completely opposite side because they were parented in a very authoritarian way. We said also that the therapeutic approach took over the way that we parent nowadays. And also we have adopted this kind of judgment-free approach in our parenting from a place that we don't believe that we should influence our children. We don't believe that we should put our views and our ideas onto our children because they should be able to find out who they are from the inside. So what I argued is that, and I'm not the only person who argues that, is that our children are suffering from a meaning crisis and an identity crisis. And if that is the case, then the solution should be that we should bring back meaning into our children's lives. So how do we bring back meaning into our children's life? I want to talk about 5 points today. The first one is that we want to give our children a sense of belonging. The second one is that we want to guide our children to participate in life in a meaningful way. The third one is that we want to guide them to pursue what is meaningful for them. The fourth one is that as parents, we want to adopt two assumptions. The one that our children are anti-fragile, and the second one is that there is such a thing as post-traumatic growth. And the fifth one, which is basically the one that is supporting all these four, is that we need to reestablish our authority as parents. So I want to start by talking about the first one. We want to create a sense of belonging for our children. How do we actually create a sense of belonging for our children? We want to connect our children to a bigger picture. A bigger picture can be the bigger picture of our family. What is our family about? What is our family mission? What are our family values? What do we stand for as a family? The second thing that can give a sense of belonging is to belong to some kind of cause or to some kind of community or to belong to a specific religion. So it has to be something that I belong to, something that is bigger than me. And the way that this is done practically for kids is not by talking to them about these different ideas and these different values, is by actually bringing these values and these ideas into our life in a way of having family rituals. So when we have family rituals, what we do is we ground those values and we help our children and ourselves embody what is important to us. The rituals help shape our identity and make us realize what is important for us. So our family rituals can be something that we do on a weekly basis, something that we do on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. It can be around holidays that we do some kind of family ritual. It has to be something that happens basically no matter what. And when a ritual happens no matter what, it tells us that the ritual is important more than each one of the individuals because it's something that we do as a whole. This also conveys the message that the child is not the center of the family, but the child is part of a family. It's part of us. It's part of the community. And our children actually, they don't want to be the center of the family. And it's not good for them to be the center of the family. We have adopted a very child-centric approach in our society. And that puts a lot of pressure on our children, actually. And our children just want to be. They want to play. They want to live. They want to learn. They don't want to be in the center. They want to be connected to something bigger. And they want to have a sense that they are held by something, that they are held by the family. They're held by values. And that is what helps them navigate the world. That is what gives them that sense of safety that they need in order to actually grow and mature and become who they're supposed to be. So when we create those family rituals, we give them a deep sense of belonging, a deep sense of safety and stability, and the sense that I am not the center of the world. So even if I don't feel like sitting at the dinner table right now, for example, we as a family are having a family dinner because this is important more than the individual in the family. This is important because this is something that we do as a family. This is a family value that we have. And we keep that value because we want that family connection. We believe that having a weekly dinner at least once a week is something that is important for us to connect to each other. And it can be around a specific theme. So for example, in our family, we do every Friday night, we do a Shabbat dinner and we welcome the Shabbat. So it's a very specific ritual. There is a specific prayer that we say. There is specific food that we eat. There is a specific song that we sing. And it gives our children that sense of that this is something that is happening every week, no matter what, and this is what I am part of. So this is one way that we can give our children that sense of meaning. The second way is that we want to guide our children to participate in society in a meaningful way. What do I mean by that? If we look around on how our children are spending their days right now, I want to say the mainstream of children, the mainstream in the society, if they are in school, then they go to their after school activities, they go to do sports, and they communicate with their friends over their phone. They spend a lot of hours on social media. So most of their day, they're in this kind of doing mode. They don't have a lot of time to just be, to just be in the world, to just be who they are right now, to just do something that is meaningful to them. Erich Fromm talks about the terms being mode and having mode. So the having mode is the mode where you are satisfying in your needs. So it can be to have something to eat or to have something to drink or to sleep. So it's satisfying our basic needs. The being mode, on the other hand, is a mode where we grow, where we mature, where we go through a transformation. It's something that it's a way that we participate in reality in a meaningful way to us and help us learn something that we didn't know before. That being mode is a place where we cultivate our wisdom. And how does that look like for children? So for children, it's when they are in a mode of for example, free play. When they play, they go into that mode of being and they're in their flow. Now, that flow experience for children and for adults and for human beings in general, it's that place where all your senses are completely engaged, that you're completely in the moment. You're not in your head, you're not thinking about yourself. It's a place where you're challenged exactly in the right amount of challenge. It's the place where you lose a sense of time. It's a place where you're completely absorbed in what you are doing. And that state is the most fulfilling place that we can be as human beings. And in that place, we grow and we learn and we mature. So we want to give our children many opportunities to be in that state of flow, to be in that state of maturation and of growth and being in that being mode. In order for us to be able to do that, it means that we need to slow down our lives a little bit. As I said in the beginning, our children, their lives right now are very hectic. They go from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other, and they don't have time to just pause and be and just dive into something that is really meaningful to them and that they lose themselves in. And in order for us to give them that opportunity, we need to slow down. So we need to ask ourselves, what is something that we could take off their schedule? Do they have to do all the after school activities? Is it that important actually? Do they have to go to all those classes? Do they have to be on the travel team where of the sports that they're doing, or can they just do rec? Are our children spending their childhood in just doing, and not really being and maturing and growing and developing in a meaningful way? One very important thing is to monitor the screen use of our children. And I know that this gets really tricky as our children grow up and they have phones and they communicate with their friends on their phones. But we know, as studies show, that the use of phones is actually very damaging for kids, especially social media, especially for girls. And because we know that, we need to be able to monitor the way that they're using their screen, and we need to limit their screen use as much as it is very difficult. And it is a tricky topic. And I know that it's not just something that there isn't a rule about it, right? Like I can't say, you give your child 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours every day. It's very specific for each child and each family. So I can't give those guidelines. But I'm saying just be mindful about your children's screen use and see whether it's taking too much of their life and it's coming to a place that because of the screen, they're not sleeping well or they're not engaging in actual life, in real life, in a meaningful way. So all of these things that I was talking about, what they do is they create a place where our children can participate in life in a meaningful way. And when we participate in life in a meaningful way, then we are growing and we are becoming wiser people. That's the only way that we can become wise. We cannot become wise by gaining more knowledge. We cannot become wise by learning more things. We cannot become wise by doing and doing and doing. We only become wise by experiencing something and participating in something and learning it in an embodied way. The third way that we want to help bring back meaning into our children's lives is by guiding them to pursue what is meaningful to them. As people, we have this natural tendency to do what is pleasurable and gratifying in the moment right now. And what is pleasurable is immediate, it's short-lived, it's fleeting, it's dependent on external things, on external factors, and it can become addictive. It can be food, it can be social media, it can be shopping. Now, none of those things are bad in and of themselves, and we need some of that in our life, right? We need to be able to enjoy our food. We need to be able to enjoy interacting on social media with our friends in our community. We need to shop and enjoy the experience of shopping. But we have to have something more than that. And that is that. And when we have that something more, that will give us the deep gratification that we want in our life. So, gratification comes from doing something that is challenging. It comes from doing a meaningful activity that I'm participating right now for a bigger goal. And this is something that I'm doing for my own personal growth. And sometimes when I'm doing something meaningful, it means that I'm delaying my gratification and I'm not doing what is easy right now because I have this bigger vision in mind. When I do that, it creates a long-term gratification and fulfillment, satisfaction, and a sense of resilience and stability. The pleasurable things that we do are expedient. They are they are easy, they are convenient, they don't demand a lot of responsibility from me. When I put most of the emphasis on my life on that, my life become really, really chaotic and not structured and basically meaningless. But when I put my effort in something that is meaningful and I take responsibility and I do something that is challenging and I'm striving towards something that is higher than where I am right now, and I'm sacrificing something in this moment. I'm sacrificing a pleasure in this moment because I have this bigger goal in mind. This leads to personal growth and long-term satisfaction. The fourth thing that we want to do in order to bring back meaning into our children's lives is to adopt two assumptions as parents. So, those two assumptions that we want to adopt as parents is that, first of all, our children are anti-fragile. Anti-fragile is a term coined by Nassim Nicholas Taleb in his book Anti-Fragile. And he talks about what is fragile. Fragile is something that breaks under stress. He talks about what is resilient. Resilient is something that resists stress but stays the same. An anti-fragile system, on the other hand, is a system that improves and thrives because it got challenged, because of uncertainty and because of adversity and stress. And human beings are exactly like that. We are anti-fragile systems. Actually, we need stress and we need adversity and we need challenge in order to grow. So that's something that we need to keep in mind as parents when we're raising our children. The second assumption that we want to adopt is that there is such a thing as post-traumatic growth. So we're used to thinking about trauma as something that creates a bad impact on our bodies, on our mental health. We know very well the term PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. But the truth is that generally the public, regular people, they grow from trauma. They don't get a disorder because of trauma. And we need to think of trauma as a growth opportunity. When I'm talking about post-traumatic growth, I'm talking about the fact that people actually emerge stronger and wiser and more fulfilled after trauma. Adversity fosters personal growth. Trauma can reshape our priorities. It can create a new perspective for us, and it helps people find meaning in life and in the challenges that they go through. So trauma is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that we need to go and traumatize our children, of course not, but we don't need to shield our children, on the other hand, also from having hard experiences, from failure, from being rejected, from having a hard time, from losing. We don't need to shield our children from these things because that's the only way that they will grow. And it's not only that they will grow, that is the way that they will find what is meaningful in life, because we cannot live a meaningful life when we are always happy and fulfilled and satisfied. That doesn't give any meaning to our life. We need actually that stress in our life. We need a little bit of trauma in order to grow. So the fifth point I want to talk about is how we reestablish our parental authority. And when we establish our authority as parents, we have all those goals in mind that I've talked about. And we have that bigger picture in our mind. We raise our children as leaders to them. So Actually, when you think about it, we are natural leaders. In the moment that our children came to this world, we became leaders, even if we want it or not, even if we like that or not. There is a very natural biological tendency for each human being to follow their parent. So when a child is born, he has the attachment system where he wants to attach to his caregiver, he wants to attach to his parent, and he wants to follow that parent. So our kids want to follow us and they want us to be their leaders. But we don't want to become leaders that are bad, that are controlling, that want to that want to abuse their power. That's not the type of leaders that we want to be. We want to become benevolent leaders. We want to become good leaders. We want to be leaders that lead our children because we care, because we love them, and because we know what is best for them. We want to lead them because we see their potential and we want to help them grow into their potential. We want to help them be fulfilled as human beings. As leaders, we want to have this clear moral compass of where we're going and how we're guiding our children, what is important for us, and what is that potential that we see in our mind for them. So we want to be somebody that our children can trust and want to follow. When we are leading, we're walking on a path. We're walking on a path towards something that is better, right? We want to better our life. We want to better the world. We want to help our children get better. We want ourselves to be better people. So we're walking towards that end goal, that we have that end goal in mind. And of course, we'll never reach that end goal, but we're always striving towards something that is good and better. We're trying to better ourselves, better the world, and better our children. So we're walking on that path, and we want our children to follow us behind in that path. And sometimes it happens that our children, they fall to the side and they go into the thorny bushes in the side. And that's when they have their strong emotions and they feel like that they can't and it's too hard and they don't want to and they don't understand why. And they're trying to kind of drag us off the path and into the thorny bushes. So as a good leader, what we do, we can see that our children are in the thorny bushes, right? They are overwhelmed with emotion, they're overwhelmed with life, and we can go there and we can help them regulate. We can show them that everything is okay. And we can help them soothe. And then we take them back on the path because we know what they're capable of. We know what their potential is. We know that they can overcome the challenge that they're having right now. We know that they can take the responsibility. So instead of going down to the bushes, we're with our children and losing our North Star, we take our children to the path with us and give them that sense that they belong to us. We give them that sense of belonging by taking them with us. We don't give them the sense of belonging by going with them to the thorny bushes. So we need to stay focused, and as parents, we need to always remember what is important. What is the bigger picture? What is the bigger goal here? When we have that in mind, we won't fall into the thorny bushes of the everyday life, of the challenges, of the frustrations, of the sadness, of the hurt, of the worries. We will stay focused on our mission as parents. We need to remember that at the end of the day, what is actually our goal? Our goal is to raise independent people. We want to raise people that are responsible for their life, people who make good choices, people who are part of something, who are here to serve the world, who are here to better the world, not people who are focused on themselves, not people who are self-absorbed, not people who are selfish, right? We want to raise people who are givers, people who are here to do something incredible in this world. And each one of us as a person has that gift inside of us. You have it, your child has it, every member of your family has it. They have that spark, they have that godly spark. They're here to do something magnificent in this world, and we want to be able to guide them towards that. And the way that we guide them towards that is by keeping them on the path, showing them what they're capable of, showing them that they can overcome this challenge right now. They can overcome this hardship that they're feeling right now. They can overcome these feelings, that the feelings are okay, but and we should acknowledge them, but we cannot let them take over our life. We need to go back on to the path and make the right choice, the good choice for right now. Okay, so to summarize, in order to bring back meaning into our children's lives, I talked about 5 things. The first one is giving our children a sense of belonging. The second one is giving our children as many opportunities as we can to participate in life in a meaningful way, to be in the world in a real way, in a meaningful way. The third one is to guide them to do what is meaningful for them, not what is easy and pleasurable right now. The fourth one is that we want to adopt the assumptions, the 2 assumptions. The first one is that our kids are anti-fragile, and the second one is that trauma actually can produce growth for our children. And the fifth one is that we want to be leaders for our children. We want to reestablish our authority as parents because we want to be the ones that help our children realize their potential and get to the point where they live a meaningful life. And the only way that they will live a meaningful life is that they do what they came here to do, which is to give their gifts to the world. So I hope this all made sense to you. I wanted to remind you that this is the second part of the episode that we had last week, where I talked about kind of the history of why we are where we are right now. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, or you can email me at efrat@efratamira.com. I hope to hear from you. Bye for now.